I'm Tim McCool. I'm with the Mastercraft Flooring Company, and I'm the technical director, and we're here to talk about moldings today. Moldings are a way to finish off at a transition point from one flooring to another. Moldings can be a really nice accent piece to finish off an edge, but we know that moldings can also sometimes be a real struggle of making sure that they go well in the area that we're going to put them. So we really have seen, some customers get held up because either they chose to lay the floor first and then the moldings came and they didn't quite blend as well as we would have liked them to at the doorway just due to the selection of boards that were at that doorway. One of the other things that we have seen is that sometimes you will get moldings and nobody necessarily opens that box prior to getting the floor down, and then they open up the box of moldings to finish off the job, and then we will see that they have some color variation more than what the customer is going to expect. And if you end up having a $50 molding hold you up on a $5,000 or $10,000 check, that's a tough spot. And then sometimes to reorder a new molding, it can take 3-4 weeks to get a new molding in. So we really want you guys to make sure that when you place the order for the flooring, you place the order for the moldings, and that they come in together, and that you do a little research before you actually put the whole floor down, that the moldings are a nice blend with the floor. We do have them so that they match, but when you're talking about wood and a natural product, match is really a hard word to say, because there's so many variations of color within the floor itself. And within these moldings that are here on the table, you're going to see that there are somewhat 4 different colors within the palette that's here. So we want to make sure that you guys have a successful installation and that everything goes well. So we're going to give you some tips on how to go ahead and make sure that when you install your moldings with your flooring, you have a better blend/match. The way I like to get a job started is I want to make sure, obviously, I have the trims and moldings on the job site along with the flooring. In this way, I can go ahead and rack a section of the flooring out and be able to put the moldings on top of there. Then I'll generally want to bring in the customer to verify that they are happy with the color, the trims, and everything, and get the customer to sign off that they're happy with the flooring, the texture, the color, the wood species, everything gets signed off on, and then you'll be ready to go ahead and move forward in then getting the nice matches for your transition moldings. So what I would do from here is I would go ahead and start with each molding individually and find an appropriate board that blends with that particular board. So as I scroll across the floor, I will find boards that will go well with the floor. So I have 2 or 3 right here that I would pull out, and depending on the size of the molding, the length of it, I would have 2, 3, 4, or 5 boards possibly to blend with that area. Next, we'll go ahead and go with the threshold piece. And as I go across this threshold, the first board I land on is a really nice match to that floor. So I would go ahead and at least pull that one out, and possibly this one to go with it, and then wrap those guys up and put them aside. And from there, I would go to the reducer. Reducer is right in line in great coloring, so I can come across here, find several different boards that will be a nice color match to that. I have 3 right here for that reducer, and that way I can have those boards set aside and to blend. And then of course the last would be the T-molding, and as I go across here, we have some really nice blending colors that will go with that T-molding nicely. So I like these 2 right off the bat. So I would finish off with those. From there, I would shrink wrap those boards together, put them in the area where I'm going to install them, and then from that way, I know I'll have a really nice smooth transition that I'll be happy with the color, and so will the customer. So one of the things we want you to be prepared for is that when you come into a molding, you will sometimes be perpendicular to the floor instead of parallel to the floor. So we want to make sure that you are able to lay this out, be comfortable that that molding is going to fit well in that area with a variety of color that you already have racked out for the flooring. And in that way, you know, if there's something that's really off color before you actually nail it to the floor, you can interchange it, switch it out before you actually nail it down. The other thing is it might be also at an angle. So just same scenario, just make sure that you have nice blending boards that come up to it. And if something that stands out too much, if it stands out to you, it's going to stand out to your customer, so let's fix it now. So in summary, what we want to make sure is that we never end up with an off-colored molding next to the flooring. So what we want to make sure that we need to know is that we end up having the transition pieces and flooring pulled together so that we have a nice smooth color palette transition going together. That we have the flooring and the moldings at the job site together so we can make sure that we pull those together. If you don't have them on the job site together, it might even be worth not installing the boards in and around those areas if that's possible. Knowing how many boards you're going to need in each, for each trim, whether you're going to need 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, just making sure that you make appropriate selections of boards. And then once you have made that selection, shrink wrap them together, put them aside. It's really easy to set some boards aside and then somebody walk by and decide that they're going to need those boards because they're the right size, and then you get to the end and you don't have them. So shrink wrap them together, have them set, precise and ready to go, and you will have a successful molding installation.